In this video, we're going to take a look at how to unbox and set up your Myvi exclusive as well as the complete desktop kit. Now this applies to both the Myvi exclusive and the Myvi exclusive plus. Both setups are identical. So let's get started. We'll begin by unboxing the computer itself. Now you'll need a knife to get this done. Now on top of the box, you'll see a QR code which you can scan using the camera application for iPhone or the Google Lens application for Android. And that will take you directly to the Learn section at creatorshardware.com, where you'll receive full video instructions on how to get the most out of your Myvi exclusive. We'll want to cut along this line as well as the tape on the sides. And you'll see here it says this side up. You want to have the actual label that's got the logo on it facing upwards, and that way you'll be able to slide the computer right out. So there's our Myvi exclusive. You can now lay this down. You can grab right underneath here. There's a little handle part and just slide the unit right out. Inside of the box, you're also going to find your power cable. You want to pull that out as well. Now we can lift it to one side, pull off this foam, pull the bottom, grab the other side, pull off that foam. Now we'll just slide the bag off. There's the unit itself. We'll go ahead and open up the power cable as well. And now let's open the keyboard and mouse. Today we're taking a look at the silver with white keys. Let's pull out the keyboard. Underneath that, you're going to find the mouse. There's the mouse, as well as a charging cable. There's a nice spot in the super stand behind the monitor where you can actually store the cable for easy access later. So we can open up the bag and just slide the keyboard right out. Now, a few nice things about the keyboard and mouse is it does come with a silicone protective cover, so you want to leave that on. It fits perfectly on this keyboard there. Also, you've got your super key, which we're going to take a look at later. There's a lot of functionality in that. You've got your Myvi key, which brings you straight to the Creators Hardware website. And you've also got your lock button right here. So a few notable features on the keyboard itself. Also, the keyboard does not require any pairing because there's actually a little USB wireless adapter and it's inside of the computer. So that way you don't have to do any sort of pairing and it just works right away the moment you start up the machine. And here's the mouse. As you can tell, it's very sleek and it does have a power saving feature where after a few minutes of not being used, it will actually turn off. You can then click it to wake it up, move it around, and that will then wake up your screen. This is the DPI button. By pressing that, you can cycle through 3 different mouse speeds. Both the keyboard and mouse will have a red indicator light to let you know when they are charging. To get the best charge, we recommend switching them off while charging. And as per the manufacturer, they're rated for up to 60 days with light use. However, with heavy use, we find more like 30 to 45 days. And your mileage will vary depending on how heavily you're using them. To actually charge a keyboard and mouse, we recommend using this USB port at the bottom here. They're very close by, and that's a USB 2.0 port, so you're not going to be using any of your faster ports. Now let's unbox and set up the complete desktop kit. You can see there's another QR code on the complete desktop kit. That will take you straight to the setup video in the Learn section at creatorshardware.com. Today we'll be setting up the 32-inch version with black accessories. Now the monitor will be black regardless, but the accessories you can select which color you like, and the setup is the same for any configuration. You'll find some simple instructions on how to open the box, as well as a quick start guide inside, and the Super Stand will come pre-installed to make it ready to go. So step 1 is to cut the tape, pull out the tabs, and lay it down on the front. You can see the arrows point to which side is the front. And now we can lay it down on its front side. You can see some additional cardboard where the Super Stand is mounted. Then you'll want to cut on both sides all the way down, and you'll want to cut around the Super Stand. Then you can pull the cardboard back. And here's the quick start guide, which shows you how to get set up, or you can simply scan this QR code and it will bring you straight into this video. So let's grab the HDMI power cable and webcam. They all come tied together and ready to go. We'll grab the desk light. We're gonna get that set up as well. And we'll wanna remove the cardboard around the super stand. Now the normal stand and normal stand neck you can leave in the box for future use if you decide to use this monitor with a different computer. Now let's pull off this packaging material and remove the foam. Now to remove the monitor, you'll want to grab it from the neck of the super stand itself, bring that over to your desk. Just like that. And now we can pull the bag off the monitor itself. You can see the monitor sits quite low, it actually touches the table. That's how we get that floating screen design with the super stand. And it's best to do this from the rear of the computer. If you don't have access to the back side of your desk, you can actually just spin your Myvi around, do it from the front, and then you can slide it and pivot it on the table. It is on rubber feet, so you want to just grab the computer itself and then spin it around afterwards. But in this case, we do have access from the back, so that makes it a little bit easier. So again, we're going to grab the monitor from the neck piece on the stand. We're going to place it on top of the Myvi exclusive with the monitor hanging off the front and center it and pull it back. So the monitor is actually touching the front of the case and it's hanging below the actual top of the case. Then we're going to want to attach these steel safety cables. You can pull them both down and just wrap them around these rear screws. So that one's on there and this one is on here. If you can't get those on there, then just grab the neck and slightly pull it back a little bit to give it a little bit more slack. And then you should be able to wiggle these on, these top screws right here. And so now if we actually tilt the case, you can see the monitor doesn't go anywhere. It is stable and it is on there. And if you do need to rotate this afterwards, just grab the sides of the computer case and rotate the case itself. And as you can see, the whole assembly will spin around together. And now we can grab our bag with the webcam, HDMI, and power cable and pull those out. It all comes pre-tied together in a harness. So let's pull out the webcam first. There's our webcam. You can slide this open to reveal it. There'll be a little piece of tape on there as well that you can just peel off. There's a little arm here. You'll want to pull that arm down and place this on top of the screen, and then you can center it and adjust it later. You want to place it on there, center it as best as you can, and we can adjust this later. And now let's plug in our power cable to the monitor. We're just going to hold the top of the monitor and push that into the power cable. The HDMI, you can fish right through the super stand and plug it into the HDMI ports right here. Then you can bring the wires and just place them right on top of the case right there. We'll plug in our HDMI and we'll plug in the webcam into one of our USB ports right here. And of course the power cable for the monitor can go into the wall. And now is a good time to plug in the power to the Myvi exclusive itself. So we have the other end of this plugged into the wall. We can plug it right here. Now the computer's got power as well. And all the wires can sit here on the top so you don't actually see them from the front view. You'll also want to be sure to pull this Wi-Fi and Bluetooth antenna out. Now you want to make sure it's not touching on the sides there, it's right in the middle, and you can actually push it in ever so slightly to make sure it's not touching the metal lip at the bottom, and that will give you the best possible Wi-Fi and Bluetooth performance. Now we can place our charging cable for the keyboard and mouse right here in the super stand, which is a very convenient place for later. And we can go ahead and set up our desk light. So here's the desk light. It is bendable, so you can bend this all around. Now you want to grab the side with the actual Myvi logo, plug it into this USB port right here. And while holding this base part, you can then adjust the actual light. So you want to do something like a little S shape like that. So this way the actual light output is going to be shining through to the keyboard and mouse. And that way you won't see the actual LED bulbs from the front view. And you can turn it off with the 3 different stages with this light right here. And it does work even if the computer is off. As long as it's plugged into the wall, the light will start working right away. And here it is from the front view. If we switch on the desk light, we can see the output of light shining over the keyboard and mouse without the actual LED balls being visible. You may want to adjust this based on your height. And if you did purchase the optional trackpad, you can now plug it into one of the USB ports at the back and place it on your desk. To switch on the keyboard, you'll just slide that on. We can now turn that on. And the switch on the mouse is just at the bottom. We can now switch that on as well. And now we can turn on the system and go through the setup. First, we want to make sure the monitor is on. There's a little power button at the back there. And let's switch on the system. Now we can select our language and our keyboard layout. We'll want to connect to Wi-Fi. Just select your network and input your password. Select our time zone. And you can put your name as well as your computer's name. For a computer, you can just leave it default, or you can name it Myvi Exclusive or Myvi Exclusive Plus. You want to make sure there's a dash instead of a space. So let's name this Myvi Exclusive and choose a password. Now you'll be greeted with a little slideshow. It's just going to set up your desktop configuration. Then it will send you to the login screen where you can input your password and you'll be on the desktop. We'll go through a couple of more steps there. Okay, looks like the setup is just about done. It's going to send us to the login screen now, which we'll be able to log in for the first time. We can now log in and we'll be greeted with a welcome video. Okay, you'll see a notification that says extension updates are available. You can ignore that. They will actually update themselves next time you turn your computer off and turn it back on. You may wish to run a super update. You can click this button right here, type in your password, and that's going to update everything on the system. It's good practice to do that. Also, you may wish to enable your location services. You'll see this update message that comes up from Steam. You want to press Start Steam, and that's going to start up Steam and update that. If you're not interested in gaming, you can close out of this. Go on the top right side. Go into your settings and go under privacy and you'll see location services. You can go ahead and switch this on. What that'll do is make your location more accurate. There's a night light feature. If we right click on the desktop and go into display settings, go into night light, the default sunset and sunrise is going to be 8 p.m. for sunset and 6 a.m. for sunrise. If you switch on that location service, it'll make your sunset and sunrise more accurate. And this will change the color temperature of the screen after the sun goes down, better for eye comfort. Also, if you purchase your Myvi Exclusive and your complete desktop together at the same time, the monitor will actually be at the correct settings by default. We can double check that by right clicking on the desktop, going under display settings. You can see it's already set to 144 Hz and 1440p. If you purchased your Myvi Complete Desktop after the fact, you'll want to go into here and actually set it to 144 Hz. You'll then want to go to the rear and unplug the HDMI and plug it into the second port and do the same thing for the second port. And any new user accounts you create in the future, you'll want to double check that as well and set it to 144 Hz. But like I said, if you purchase the complete desktop and the computer together all in one, we'll actually go ahead and put in a configuration file that will save this in the memory. So anytime this exact monitor is plugged into your Myvi Exclusive, it will automatically default to the correct settings. Also, you'll want to double check your sound settings by clicking on the top right side, clicking on the digital output here on the drop down menu, switch it to analog and just make sure analog sound is at 100% volume. Then you can switch it back to digital. Now make sure we'll have our full sound. You can now sign into Google Chrome by opening the Chrome icon at the bottom there. You can deselect to send usage data, hit OK. Now when you're in Chrome, you want to select this option right here. Already a Chrome user, sign in. You don't want to create a new user profile. You'll want to sign into profile 1 because we do have some custom configurations and settings you'll want to use later. Save into profile 1. If you accidentally close out of this and you open it again, you won't see that screen again. But if you select the little person icon right here and go into turn on sync, you can now sign into your Google Chrome account in profile 1. You don't want to click here and add a new user. You'll just want to hit turn on sync, sign into profile 1. And if you want to disable sync, you can do it from this menu in the future. And now we can go and center our webcam using the date and time in the top there and go ahead and switch off the privacy cover. Sometimes when you restart the computer, the monitor will actually go into its power save mode when the computer is turning back on. Just wait a few seconds, the monitor will power back on and you'll be at your login screen. So I'll show you what I mean now. Let's go power off. We're going to hit the restart button. We'll see this first splash screen here. Now you can see the monitor is actually going to go into its power save mode while the computer is still just turned on. We're going to wait a few seconds and the monitor will turn back on and we'll be at the login screen. You see the light is now orange on the bottom right side there. When that turns blue, the monitor realizes the computer is on and it'll turn back on. And there you go, the light just turned blue and we're at our login screen. So it took maybe 10 seconds or so. The monitor realized the computer is back on and you're back in the login screen just like normal. And that's it, you're all done. You can now begin using your Myvi exclusive. Be sure to hit the Myvi key or click the Myvi icon in the launcher at the bottom there to bring you straight to the Creators Hardware website where you can find further instructions in the Learn section. Enjoy your computer.